Happy Monday, everyone. It's time for my daddy's podcast.
Welcome back to the Lessons for Success podcast. I'm your host, Adam Wardlaw, a middle school science teacher and a high school football coach in South Carolina. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast heard by over 2,000 students, teachers, and coaches worldwide. The goal is to provide quick daily lessons to help you achieve more in your life. Be sure to reach out to the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok by searching L4S Show or using the hashtag L4S Show. Remember, it's the number 4. If you're listening on an iPhone, be sure to give the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts in order to keep our community growing. Now let's start the show. When life throws you a curveball, are you going to react like a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean? Sure, I know that seems like a totally random question, but after today's edition of Monday Motivation here on the Lessons for Success podcast, it will all make sense. Welcome back, everyone. It's time to get your work week started on the right foot. Thank you for tuning in. This episode is all about responding to situations. You see, as we'll learn in today's episode, life is more about responding to situations than trying to prevent them or manage them. I'll start this episode off with a story. Once upon a time, a daughter complained to her father that her life was miserable and that she didn't know how she was going to make it. She was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. It seemed just as one problem was solved, another one soon followed. Her father, a chef, took her to the kitchen. He filled 3 pots of water and placed each on a high fire. Once the 3 pots began to boil, he placed potatoes in one pot, eggs in the second, and ground coffee beans in the third. He then let them sit and boil without saying a word to his daughter. The daughter moaned and impatiently waited, wondering what was taking so long and what he was even doing. After 20 minutes, he turned off the burners. He took the potatoes out of the pot and placed them in a bowl. He took the boiled eggs out and placed them in a bowl. And then he poured the coffee out and placed it in a cup. Turning to her, he asked, "Daughter, what do you see?" "Potato, eggs, and coffee," she hastily replied. "Look closer," he said, and touched the potatoes. She did, and she noticed that they were soft. He then asked her to take an egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, he asked her to sip the coffee. Its rich aroma brought a smile to her face. "Father, what does this mean?" she asked. He then explained that the potatoes, the eggs, and coffee beans each faced the same adversity, the boiling water. However, each one reacted differently. The potato went in strong, hard, unrelenting, but in the boiling water it became soft and weak. The egg was fragile, with the thin outer shell protecting its liquid interior until it was put in the boiling water. Then the inside of the egg became hard. However, the ground coffee beans were unique. After they were exposed to the boiling water, they changed the water and they created something new. "Which are you?" he asked his daughter. "When adversity knocks on your door, how do you respond? Are you a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean?" Powerful story here with a moral we can all learn from. Each day we face adversity, from minor to major. Maybe your biggest obstacle today was just getting out of bed. Maybe you got a flat tire on your way home from work. Maybe you got a bad performance review after a major project. Whatever the case is, it doesn't matter as much as what comes next. Are you going to be like the potato in our story, where the obstacles and challenges of life break you down and soften you? Or will you be more like an egg and let it harden you? Or will you be like the coffee bean, the best example in our story, and create something great out of a seemingly rough situation? Will you take that setback on a quiz or a test and let it ignite something in you to improve your study habits? Will you take those bills pouring in and let it shift your thoughts on your personal budget? Whatever the situation is, there's a way that you can create something positive from it. It's all about how you see the obstacles in life. Just remember that no adversity is impossible to overcome. Like we've mentioned before here on the show, life is going to be full of challenges, so don't plan on dodging it. Instead, be like the coffee bean and spin it in your favor. That's all the time I have on today's episode. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm looking forward to sharing more lessons with you the rest of the week. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Well, folks, that's it for another edition of the Lessons for Success podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember that you can keep up with the show wherever podcasts are found, as well as the newly updated Lessons for Success YouTube channel. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok to keep up with more content from the show. If you haven't already done so, give the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. That's all the time I have for today. Be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Lessons for Success show.